All right, guys, we are back with round three hat format at Epic Cards and Games in Hurst, Texas. We got two teammates of mine going at it. The Sheriff Los on the left playing Mermails versus Ycs Las Vegas 2023v3 champion Scott Page playing Infernities. First time for Scott on the channel. Except he actually was one on the channel once for the Team War, like the first videos I ever uploaded years ago. Anyway, let's go to the duel. Los starts off by normal summoning Mermail Abyss Spike. Discards. Basically, you discard a water monster from your hand to search any level 3 water monster from your deck to your hand. So Los discards Tidal to search Atlantean Marksman. Now, Atlantean Marksman, whenever it is sent to the graveyard to activate a water monster's effect, it destroys a set card. So something I forgot to mention in the previous video, even if you use it as an XYZ material for a water monster, Atlanteans will trigger. Like if you go for a rank 4 water monster with Dragoons and you use its effect, detaching goons, it'll activate. Same thing with Leviathan, and I think there might be some other water monsters, XYZs, that I'm not thinking about. But anyways, let's see what Scott does. First time on a channel for Scott. For some reason, I don't know, we're getting a lot of new faces playing Hat. These people don't want to play Edison, but they enjoy Hat. Especially the modern Yu-Gi-Oh players, they'd much rather play Hat than Edison. I think because it's faster, the decks are more consistent. I think that's what it is. All right, so Infernities. How will Scott do? Scott has one of the people who told me he thinks Infernities is the best deck. Both these guys are undefeated. We had 4 rounds of Swiss, cut the top 8. So winner of this is guaranteed a spot in top 8. So we'll see who gets there. Scott's taking a while. Again, a lot of us just started playing Hat. It's not like we've been playing Hat for years like people online have. A lot of us just started playing recently. But most of us played back then, so we kind of know the format. Like me watching these duels, I know this format pretty well. But there's still some things I don't remember. Like I forgot that, Marksman and Dragoons, if you exceed someone with them for water monsters, that will trigger their effects. So here, Scott normal summons Greffer. We know that card. Here, Los Bottomlesses. So this is Hat format, not Edison, so Greffer does not get priority. Scott activates Upstart. Yes, priority got removed, I believe, in 2012. Like early 2012. Turn player priority. Alright, so here, Los activates Mermail Bisphere. So this special summons a Mermail monster from your deck. And during the end phase, the Mermail monster will be destroyed. And the effects are negated. So that's why most of the time you get Mermail Abyss Land, because its effect activates in the graveyard whenever it's destroyed. Special summon a Mermail from your deck. So here, Los special summons Mermail Abyss Megalo. So Mermail Abyss Megalo has like 3 effects. One, you can discard 2 water monsters from your hand to special summon it from your hand. And yeah, okay. So Scott can see. So what happened was Mermail Abyss Megalo's on-field effect is you contribute another water monster, so it can attack twice. It's 2,400 attacks, so that's 4,800 damage. Then Los normal summon Atlantean Marksman. Atlantean Marksman is 1,400 attack, and when it inflicts battle damage, you can special summon 1 level 4 or lower Sea Serpent type monster. So he's going to bring out Dragoons, and that's exactly 8,000 damage. 2 Megalo hits, and then the Marksman into the Dragoons. All right. So here, game 2, Scott summons Greffer, discards Armageddonite, and then dumps Stygian Street Patrol. So Stygian Street Patrol, basically you can banish this card from your graveyard, special summon 1 Fiend monster with 2,000 less attack from your hand. So the whole point of Infernities, to trigger all their effects, you have to have no cards in your hand. Okay, another thing, for those guys who maybe don't know Mermails. So we saw the card Los used to go for game. Mermail Abyss Megalo, you can special summon it by discarding 2 water monsters from your hand to special summon it from your hand. And when it's special summoned this way, you can add a Mermail Abyss spell or trap from your deck to your hand. So, yeah. This is the thing, as Yu-Gi-Oh became more modernized, cards started gaining more than 1 effects. Like, there's not many cards in Edison that have more than, like, 2 or 3 effects, but you can see how it slowly, Konami started doing that with cards. So, does Scott have no cards in hand? Oh, yeah, so he searched Necromancer off of the Archfiend. So he summons Lavalval Chain. Now, Lavalval Chain sends any monster from your deck to your graveyard, or you can put it on top of your deck. I think that's what Lavalval Chain does. And here, Los DD Crows, Scott's third Stygian Street Patrol so that he can't banish the Street Patrol and bring out the Inferni Necromancer from his hand. Okay. Let me go double check on the bobble chain. Oh no, you can send a card. So you can send... Okay. So here, Los discards Dragoons to special summon Mermail Bistius. But Scott chains Vanity's Emptiness. So obviously, Vanity's Emptiness, neither player can special summon. So he reveals the Tias. So the Tias will stay in his hand. But Dragoons, Atlantean Dragoons, will still activate because it was used for the to activate a water monster. It was sent to the graveyard to use a water monster's effect. So Dragoon searches any Sea Serpent from your deck to your hand when it's sent to the graveyard for a water monster effect. Alright. So you're seeing the power of Vanity's Emptiness. Neither player can special summon. Those of you guys who maybe watch my pros and cons of the 4 most popular Yu-Gi-Oh! Retro formats, one of my cons for Hat was Vanity's Emptiness. We'll see if Los can get out of this one. So for those guys, maybe... So the Mermail monster Los tried to summon was Mermail Bistius. So Mermail Bistius, you can discard 1 water monster to special summon. It's a level 7. And when it's special summoned that way, you can search any level 4 or lower Mermail monster from your deck to your hand. Yes, Mermail monster. You can't like search Atlanteans because they're 2 different archetypes. And it's not a Sea Serpent, which is relevant because if it was a Sea Serpent, then you could search it with Atlantean Dragoons. Atlantean Dragoons searches any, I believe, Sea Serpent from your deck to your hand. Let's see. Yes. Yes, Dragoons adds any Sea Serpent from your deck to your hand, except Atlantean Dragoons. That card's limited to 1. So here Scott summons another Grepher, doesn't ditch the Necromancer, keeps the Necromancer in his hand. So he's just beating him down with oppression. Alright, let's see what Los can do. $28,000 to $8,000. Maybe Los didn't side enough outs to Emptiness, because we saw Los play round 1 and he got destroyed game 2 by John just flipping Emptiness on him. So I don't know how many MSTs or cards to out Emptiness are in his deck. But yes, Emptiness hurts this deck really bad. You got to be prepared for that card if you're gonna play Hat format. If your deck loses to it, like. All right, so Scott attacks with Lavable Chain, and Los concedes. So, quick second game, won by Emptiness there. It's not like Scott had an insane field. It was just Vanity's Emptiness. And Los couldn't out it. So, we're going to game 3. Who will win this match? So, obviously, these Hat videos are much longer than my Edison videos because I didn't speed them up as much. I want to go over most of the cards for the time being, because I really want this format to grow, and like I said, it's taking over my locals. I think we're going to hit 30 plus players soon. Anyways, Los went first, set a monster, sets 2 back rows. Probably set Mermail Bisland, which is kind of like a Mystic Tomato for Mermails, except it's kind of like a tomato mixed in with a Sangan. So it gets its effect whenever it's destroyed by battle or, card, as long as it's destroyed. Yes. No, I guess it's not a Sangan, because Sangan will get its effect even if you synchro with it or you tribute it. No, that card has to be destroyed either by battle or card effect. That's why it works well with Abyss Sphere, because Abyss Sphere destroys it during your opponent's end phase. Now, Abyss Sphere negates the Mermail, is the trap card, especially summons a Mermail from your deck. And negates its effect, and I believe while Abyss Sphere is face up, you can't activate spell cards. So, most of the time you use Abyss Sphere during your opponent's turn. Yeah, occasionally you use it during your turn if you're going for game. But it matters because I think if you trap stun a Abyss Sphere, it stays face up and you can't use spell cards. I think that's how it works. So anyways, here Scott activates Instant Fusion. So this is an Edison card, so I'm not going to go over it. Summons a dark whatever dragon. I forgot its name. And Scott normal summons Summoner Monk. Okay, I don't have to explain this card. Scott sets 3. Does he have a spell in his hand? Yes, he does. Discards MST. First Summoner Monk. So here he can get he has to get a level 4 monster for Summoner Monk. So he can get Archfiend, and he has no cards in hand. Infernity Archfiend will trigger. Now he might get something else. I don't know. I don't know how to play Infernities. I've never played the deck. One of the decks I'd never played, but at least I know the cards. I don't know the optimal plays here. I feel like Infernity is also not the autopilot deck. It's a little bit harder to play. Like, I'm sure there's a lot of lines for Infernities. I mean, if you go first, it's easy, but when you're having to play through back rows, that's when this deck is hard to play. Like, you have to play around hand traps now. Like, Los could have Maxi, he could have Valor, he could have DD Crow. You have to worry about his back rows. Okay, let's see. What will Scott search? So he did special summon Infernity Archfiend again. He has no cards, so Infernity Archfiend's effect will activate. So he chooses to search Infernity Launcher to his hand. So Infernity Launcher can special summon up to 2 Infernity monsters from your graveyard. Obviously, you can only use it if you have no cards. So he's going to XYZ summon Infernity Launcher. Yes. You can target up to 2 Infernity monsters in your graveyard, special summon them. You must have no cards in your hand to activate the results. It also has another effect. Once per turn, you can send 1 Infernity monster from your hand to the graveyard. Basically, just to lower your hand size. That's the other effect from Launcher. So here, Scott summons Master Key Beetle, which is, you need 2 level 4 dark monsters to XYZ summon it. So basically, you can protect any card on the field, I believe, except itself. Yes, Scott's saying it. He can protect any card he wants. So let's see what's he going to protect. I think the play is to protect your Vanity's Emptiness. That's usually what you do with Key Beetle. Yes, and it looks like, oh yeah, he was trying to protect his Emptiness. And Lowe's chained MST to Key Beetle's effect. Alright, so Scott tributes Infernity Launcher to special summon up to 2 Infernity monsters from his graveyard. So he chooses just 1 Archfiend. That's all he had in his graveyard. And since he has no cards in hand, Infernity Archfiend will search him any Infernity card. So he searches Infernity Regeki Break is basically what we're going to call it. So you banish an Infernity card from your graveyard to destroy any card on the field. But again, it's Infernity, so you have to control no cards in your hand to activate it. So here Scott XYZ summons with Archfiend and Summoner Monk to bring out Abyss Dweller, which just wrecks Mermails. All right, Scott's going to activate, probably use Dweller's effect. He probably thinks that Lowe set the Mermail Abyssland, which is, like I said, the tomato / Sangan for Mermails, and Lowe has the breakthrough skill. Oh yeah, Lowe's has to use it as soon as I see what's happening. He has to use it right away. He can't like wait and use it later because it's like a blanket effect. Yeah, he has to because now Scott's not going to attack him. Now this is the beauty about breakthrough skill is that it has a second effect in the graveyard. You can use it again. Except the turn is sent to the graveyard, you can negate a face-up monster effect. So here, Slows, you're going to see he's going to use a breakthrough skill second effect in the graveyard to negate Scott's Dweller, because Dweller is a quick effect. You can use it during either player's turn. So he's going to negate Dweller, and here Los normal summons Mermail Abyss Pike, discards a water monster from his hand, discards a Atlantean Marksman to search any level 3 water monster from his deck to his hand. Now, Atlantean Marksman was sent to the graveyard for a water monster's effect, so after he searches, it's going to destroy any face-up card. So he's probably going to destroy the Key Beetle. He could destroy the Dweller as well, but Dweller basically has no material, so now it's just a 1700 vanilla monster. So he's most likely going to target the Key Beetle. Alright. I'm sorry, guys. I'm talking way more than normal because I'm explaining all these cards. Oh, man. And obviously, I love Mermails. It has a very special place in my heart. I won my YCS with this deck back in 2013. And Infernities is a deck I never played. But it was the first format I ever played in Yu-Gi-Oh! Was Infernity format. Infernity, X-Saber, Frog, FTK format. So that deck also has a, it was a much different Infernity deck back then. It was more of a synchro version, and they had 3 launchers, set 3 barriers on you. But also that deck kind of died after that format, and then it came back years later. Okay, so here Scott's going to target one of the back rows with Infernity break, discard the Infernity launcher. Oh, he's got 2 breaks. Discards Los's 2 bluffed soul charges. One thing I noticed, soul charge is not that great in Los's deck. It's more of like a mid-game card, but like early game, it's not really powerful in Los's deck. Oh, Scott top deck skill charge. Speaking of skill charge. Oh, what a nice draw. So here Scott's going to pay 2,000 life points, brings back Infernity Archfiend and Summoner Monk. And since he controls no cards, Infernity Archfiend is going to trigger to search any Infernity card from his deck to his hand. Sorry, he controls no cards in his hand. For these guys who may be wondering. You have to control no cards in your hand to trigger Infernities. I believe almost all of them work that way. Like break, you have to have no cards. Launcher, barrier, Archfiend, Necromancer, all the relevant ones. So he searches another Archfiend. Now, Scott has not normal summoned. So here he XYC summons with Summoner Monk. And Archfiend goes for Lavalval Chain. So Lavalval Chain can send any card from your deck to the graveyard. So you can send Spell and Traps if it matters. Okay, so he banishes Stygian Street Patrol. Special summons Archfiend. Special summons a fiend with 2,000 less attack from your hand. So Archfiend will activate. Scott searches Infernity Barrier, which is basically you have to control a face-up attack position Infernity monster and no cards in your hand, and it negates any spell or trap or a monster effect, but it does not negate summons. So here, Scott is going to activate Master Key Beetle's effect, and I think he's going to protect his Infernity Barrier in case Lowe's tries to MST it or something, so that Scott can really choose what he's going to use the barrier on. Okay. Do we know what Scott's other back row is? I mean, this is a nice field, but I guess he can wait a turn. Well, he's soul charged, so he can't attack anyway. So, yeah, this is not... Yeah, he protects the barrier and passes. So this is not looking... Like, Scott's in an okay position, but... Let's see if Lowe's can fight out of this. So, Lowe's starts off by... normal summoning Genix Undyne. So, Genix Undyne sends, I believe, any water monster from your deck to the graveyard. So... But you have to have a Genix controller in your deck, because you have to search the Genix controller. So if you don't have Genix controller, you cannot activate Genix Undyne's effect. But luckily, Los has a Genix controller. It's a level 3 vanilla monster tuner, Dark. That's why sometimes people play Allure Darkness in their Mermail deck, because they just search a controller for free, and then it's kind of like a pot of greed for them. So he's going to send Atlantean Heavy Infantry. So when that card is sent to the graveyard, to activate a water monster's effect, destroy any face-up card. And let's see. Scott chooses to use Infernity Barrier to negate Marksman's effect. Oh, no, never mind. He lets it go through. Slow's targeted. Infernity Archfiend. So here he's going to draw 2 cards. So I called it Pot of Greed. So he banishes a controller. So I'm guessing Los' set monster is in a Mermail Abyssland. So we don't know. Yeah, I like it was pretty obvious it was Abyssland. So we know Scott's got Infernity Barrier that can't be destroyed because he protected it with Master Key Beetle's effect. And we don't know what the other back row is for Scott. So here, Lowe's crashes his Mermail Abyssland. So he can special summon any Mermail monster from his deck. And he special summons Mermail Abyss Pike. So when Abyss Pike is normal special summon, you can discard a water monster from your hand to search any level 3 water monster. He discards Atlantean Marksman. And Atlantean Marksman's effect will activate since it was sent to the graveyard for a water monster. So yes. He's probably going to target the one, not the barrier, the other one. We'll see if Scott decides to use his Infernity Barrier on it. So Lowe searches another Genix Undyne. So he's definitely on 2 controllers. And yeah, he's probably going to target the other back row, or will he choose the Infernity Barrier? Well, what's going on here? Is he not going to target? Okay, so he targets Infernity Break. Scott chains Infernity Break, discards and banishes another break to pop one of the Mermail Abyss Pikes. So now Lowe's cannot XYZ summon for anything. Switches Mermail Abyss Pike to defense mode. Okay, so Scott chose the one that he couldn't switch. He wants to keep that one in attack mode to do damage. Okay, so we know Scott's cards. We know Scott's got a set Infernity Barrier. He can use Lavalval Chain, and he's got a card in his hand. So he top decks Necromancer, which I believe when it's summoned, it switches to defense mode. And once per turn, you can special summon an Infernity monster from your graveyard if you control no cards. So right now, Scott does not control an Infernity monster in face-up attack position, so he cannot use his Infernity Barrier. Like I said, I believe that card has to switch. Yes, has to switch to defense mode. So Scott cannot use Barrier on that Solemn Warning. Barrier is a counter trap for those of you guys who maybe don't know, but yes, he couldn't use his Infernity Barrier is dead right now. So here he attacks, and then attacks with Lavalval Chain, and he could use Lavalval Chain's effect to put any monster that he wants on top of his deck. So he can like put an Infernity Archfiend on top of his deck. So next turn, when he draws for turn, he reveals Archfiend. He controls no cards, so Archfiend will special summon itself and search any Infernity card from his deck to his hand. So we'll see. I think that's what he's going to do. I'm almost positive. Yeah, that's what I thought. Again, I don't know the optimal lines for this deck. I've never played it, but I've played against it a few times, seen it in action. So, yeah, we'll see. But he still can't use that barrier. That's the only issue. So, we knew Los had the Genix Undying because he searched it on Mermail Abyss Pike last turn. So here, what's he going to send? Dragoons, maybe? I don't know. What's Los' last... This game, like... I feel like Scott should... Oh, he sends Tidal. Okay, so... I guess Scott can just... Sorry, Los is just planning to, like, ride a Tidal. So Tidal is a dragon ruler. You can special summon it from your hand or graveyard by banishing any 2 dragons. Or... Yes. Any 2 dragons or water monsters. For Tidal. All the dragon rulers are like that. They can banish 2 dragons from your hand or graveyard to special summon them. Or their same attribute. Yeah, so like water. Tidal sends the water and can banish waters. And, Blaster does fire. Tempest does wind. And Redox does earth. So again, Scott did this play. Reveal Archfiend. He's going to search an Infernity card from his deck to his hand. So we know Los' last card in his hand is Genix Controller, which is a level 3 Dark Tuner Vanilla monster, and he's got 1 back row. Scott searches Infernity Necromancer. He has not normal summon. That was a special summon by Archfiend's effect. So he summons Necromancer. So now Scott's Infernity Barrier is live. So Necromancer switches to defense mode. Once per turn, special summon an Infernity monster from your grave if you control no cards. So he summons Infernity Archfiend. Archfiend's not once per turn, so he can just keep searching whatever cards he needs from his deck to his hand. Another thing for those guys who may not know, Dragon Rulers have 3 effects, but you can only use 1 effect per turn. So they have an effect when they're banished. You basically search a dragon with the same type. So if you were to banish Tidal with Gold Star, you can search another Tidal or another water dragon monster. So they also have effects in their hand. Like Tidal's effect is you can discard itself from your hand and another water monster to basically foolish any card from your deck to your graveyard. So here, Los banishes 2 water monsters, special summon Tidal. So I think Scott did not remember about this Synchro monster. So Scott I don't think can deal with this card. Sacred Tree Leo. It's a level 10, 3100 attack Synchro monster. So, yeah, I remember Scott told me he completely forgot about that card. Basically, that card cannot be targeted except during your main phase 2. So it's a pretty annoying card to deal with because, like, what rank... There's not really a rank 4 XYZ monster that can deal with this guy without, like, 3100 is huge in hat format. Most cards target. So I think maybe Scott should have used Inferni Barrier on title, and then maybe he wins. But I think what Scott's argument is he forgot about Leo. Again, we all just started playing hat recently. There's some of my friends have been playing for like a month, but most of us, like, we just picked up the decks. We're just going based off memory from a decade ago, But overall, I think these two are playing pretty well. It's one thing that I will say is funny because, like, a lot of people that I've met through the years playing Yu-Gi-Oh, they're all switching to Lorcana and One Piece, but they'd rather play Hat, One Piece, or Arcana than modern Yu-Gi-Oh. It's funny. It's like people will do they'll play Hat, they'll play Edison, they'll play Arcana, they'll play One Piece, but they won't play modern Yu-Gi-Oh. That should tell you something, right? All right, so let's see what Scott can do. I don't think he can deal with this Leo. I remember against like Burning Abyss, they cannot deal with that card because all their cards targeted. They would have to wait for the main phase 2. But basically, you just go in, you just do a lot of damage, and like Burning Abyss would have to wait for their main phase 2. Or one thing that people would do is they just win and go into their battle phase against Burning Abyss. So if you don't go into your battle phase, you'd have to go to main phase 2. You just go main phase 1, end phase, so you can't target it, and then they would make the Burning Abyss player deck out. All right, so here, okay, so this is the out for the Leo. So, Rap City, basically you detach a material to banish 2 cards. Twice per turn, you can banish a card from your opponent's graveyard. So, Scott would like detach both materials, banish 2 cards from Los's graveyard, and then you can equip it to any XYZ material monster and it'll gain 1200 attack. Now, right now, Scott only has Lavalval Chains, the only other XYZ monster, so it'll go up to 3,000 and it still can't attack over Leo. But maybe Los is afraid of... Sorry, yeah. So, Inferni Barrier, since he switched the Necromancer to attack mode, that way he could use Inferni Barrier, and Los tried to Blackhorn the Rhapsody. Scott Chain Barrier. Now he's going to use Necromancer's effect to bring back Inferni Archfiend. So, does Los have something else to stop this? Yeah, so Scott's trying to get another rank 4 on the field so that he can... oh, no, he's just stalling. I think he has nothing left to search in his deck for Inferni Archfiend. He drew all his cards, so... Here, he takes 3,100 damage. He's at 400. End phase, MST, Los' Sphere. Also, these guys are getting close to time. So, he normal summons Stygian Street Patrol. XYZ summons. So, Los attacked over the Necromancer. I think Los attacked over the Necromancer because they were so close to time. Because maybe he should have attacked over the Rhapsody. No, it was the same thing. No, attacking over the other guy was the right move. Okay, so does Los have something to stop this? He breakthroughs kills the Rhapsody, and that is game because the guy's at 21. So, yes, congrats to Los winning. That was a good third game. I think Scott messed up there. He told me he just forgot about Leo, or I think he probably wins that match had he remembered about Leo, because he would just barrier the title, and Los, I guess, then I think he would just go off the next turn. Anyway, that was a fun match to commentate over. If you guys have any tips, recommendations, let me know, because I really love watching hat format. I'm having a ton of fun. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time for the rest of the tournament. Bye, guys.